Good morning. This is car vlog number 6. Lulu was cold this morning, so she's got her little sweater on. But it's starting to get sunny, so as I said yesterday, we get fog here, even though the beach is about 20 minutes away. Okay, I don't know about you, but whenever there's a police vehicle, I get nervous that I'm doing the wrong thing. I was stopped at a stop sign and a police truck went by. I believe it's their CSI truck, so I don't think they would have. I guess they still had the authority to pull me over. And I only know it was the CSI truck because one time someone broke into my van and they came out and fingerprinted it, but there was no usable fingerprints. And I also did not know if they took anything. I had this box of things people kept leaving in my car, because at that time I would drive teenagers around to their homes. I was a youth group leader, so I'd take them home and take them places and mentor them and all that. And they would leave stuff in my car because kids and teenagers just forget things. And we do too. So they dumped that over. I don't know if they took anything. They went through everything. I didn't really have anything to take, but it still feels like a violation. That was the one day I figured out that the police weren't really there for us, but they're also not the nicest. I called 911 as we're trained, since we're like in the room to call 911 when something happens. So I called 911 and the dispatcher was pissed off at me and said I needed to call the sheriff's number. And then instead of comforting me and all that, she gave me the number to Child Services, not the Sheriff's Department. So that was my terrible experience with the police department. Not actual police. Like, anytime I've been pulled over, or, well, actually I've only been pulled over once for mega speeding. The officer was really nice. And I have also a couple times been hanging out in a parking lot, and they don't like that. But they were nice, asked for my ID, and found out that I wasn't a criminal, so but it is nerve-wracking. I can understand why people have issues with the police. Some of them feel like they're a way of authority over you. My brother, as a teenager, had tons of issues with the police because he looked a certain way, even though he was, got good grades, like excellent grades, and was salutatorian and played sports and was a star sportsman and had a job and worked and was a hard worker. They labeled him, and he was. Funny part is he was white. He's white, Irish. So at that time he was labeled a Nazi skinhead. And I also labeled teenage boys a lot. He had a certain car that he couldn't drive anymore. My mom had to drive it because they just kept pulling him over. I feel like those are the type of police that have a power trip, man. Just because you see a teenage guy driving a red car doesn't mean they're gonna do something bad. Just like if you see a certain race driving anything, that doesn't make them a bad guy. But I think we've come a long way. That was the 90s. We've come, I feel like we've come a long way since the 90s. Because, in my opinion, a lot of these things that have been happening, the people, not that nobody should know. I think that everybody should see their day in court. We need to figure out how to make sure people can see their day in court and get a trial by their peers. But with that said, I think that a lot of things going on right now have to do with someone being a criminal and breaking the law, and the police officer not being equipped the right way to deal with a criminal. And the other things, a lot of other things, there are openly racist people that are in every realm of society. But I think the majority of things that have been happening lately that get labeled as racist is just people not loving people. That's just my take on it. If you love people, you will not do things like that, or you'll try not to do things like that. I know, I remember things that I said and did when I was younger that I'm like, oh my gosh, that now it would be like, that's not loving. Like, that person did not like that nickname that we gave them. That was not loving, you know. And all you can do is now, in the present and future, is not say those things and not treat people meanly. Treat them like a family member. Treat them as you want to be treated. Like, would I want a nickname that hurt my feelings? Like, would I want, see, my name's Amy, would I want my nickname to be Fat Amy? Even though I'm overweight, I would not want my nickname to be Fat Amy. So, I think we need to, individually, we need to change those things. And our world will not be changed until people change themselves. I guess that's what I'm getting at. Like, all these things that are going on, protests, riots, all that stuff. Like, nothing's gonna change till those people in those situations actually are loving and kind towards each other. Like, how are you getting your point across if you're hurting someone with a baseball bat, if you're shooting someone with a gun, if you're beating somebody up, if you're destroying someone's business? You're just showing people that you hate them. That's all you're doing. So how is anything going to change with those actions? Nothing's going to change. The issue is not any form of weapon or violence. The issue is people's hearts. The issue is not if they've been in jail or not. It's people's hearts. man, either someone's smoking a lot of pot, or all the gardeners in the neighborhood are cutting down some really stinky plants, or a bunch of skunks sprayed or got killed, because that was just a nasty smell. That was so gross. I'm sorry, but I do not like the smell of skunk pot. That kind of smell. I've not come across any pot that smells good, so hence why I would never do it, because I can't do things that I can't stand the smell of. But I have friends and family that do it, so, or use it. So, not condemning anyone, especially if you're using it for medical purposes. However, I have met someone once that had extreme anxiety, and it felt like the pot made them worse, so might have calmed them down to go to sleep, but like the lack of having the pot like completely made them even more paranoid and belligerent. So I think use it with caution, use it wisely, and have a good day.